everybody. I've not posted something for the last 2 weeks, I think so. But there's a video I did here, and that video, people really commented about it. It was about the Kenya lifestyle and how Kenyans are. Now I want to pick this topic now concerning Kenyans and Tanzanians because of the recent years, Kenyans and Tanzanians have been having a beef, you know, mistrusting each other, trying to outsmart each other. Others complain that Kenyans they speak better English than Tanzanian. Tanzanian says Kenyans they speak bad English, bad Swahili. We are not denying the fact that Swahili originated from Zanzibar in Tanzania, and we cannot dispute that. Now we must know the origin of the language as a diatric, African diatric, which is a good you know a good explanation. English is a foreign language that was endorsed and imposed on us. And Kenyans, they follow British system whereby you have to be perfect in somebody's foreign language, which is not a necessary thing. And Tanzania, they believe in themselves because I've lived in both countries and I have seen like in Kenya, we are more brainwashed to behave like Western people or to value foreign things more and add more pride when we are dealing with foreign things and not believing in ourselves. But in Tanzania it's totally different. Tanzania will speak Swahili to you with respect, will speak Swahili to you with remorse, will speak Swahili to you and try as much as possible to avoid English words or French words because Tanzanian they are more African oriented in their dress code, their linguistics, their culture, their custom, their way of doing things. Unlike Kenyans, those who have money, sometimes they have pride. Those who have education, they prefer to communicate even in rural areas where they come from. Even the government officials, they're using English language. You understand? And the people are not able to, some of the people in the rural areas are not able to understand what this guy is talking about. And that one, I think it's something that is puzzling and puzzled me so much. And we need to live as good neighbors because this beef it's now political instead of economic. It started with even Kenyan artists. They cannot beat Tanzanian artists when it comes to the lyrics and the production of music. And what you're forgetting is if you stick to your culture and you endorse your culture and you embrace it effectively, it will reward you. It will create an image for you there outside, and people will always be looking at you to reference or to say, I want to learn about this from this guy. Tanzania and South Africans they have similarities when it comes to identity, and culture. But in Kenya, you know, it's totally different. In South Africa, because I've been to South Africa, you can see a South African will be authentic. They have all this development and technological, growth and Western kind of lifestyle, but that person has the real identity. He is still a South African. He's still tied to his culture. He is speaking his own language. He loves it and he's proud of it. But we in Kenya, what's the problem? If you speak English and you make problems, you make a grammatical error, somebody is rushing to correct you. You are forgetting that is not my language, and it's not my mother tongue. And in South Africa, they don't care whether they have problem with the verbs, adverbs, adjectives, prepositions, nouns, and singular, plural. They don't care. Gelads, consonants, and all those things. They don't care about those things, because as long as they communicate and they will even switch to their own languages. And that is what I want Kenyans to be like. But it's not something that can be pushed by one person. And I think this thing of westernization media centers endorsement and publicity in Kenya, they contributed so much to this brainwash because many Kenyans they prefer to speak English instead of Swahili, especially those ones who are addressing public, and even in rural areas, and they prefer English. English and individualism is part of the society. You understand? And that's the difference between Tanzania and Kenya. And Tanzania and South Africa they share the same cultural beliefs that you have to to your tradition, to what you are, not trying to live another person's life. Because in South Africa, I saw it's like if you go to KwaZulu Natal in KZN, you speak English to somebody, they just look at you, and before they even talk back to you, they automatically know you're not from there. So, and he will ask questions: why you don't speak Zulu, why you don't speak Kosa, why you don't speak Tebere. They'll ask you that question, and that guy, he's maybe even a lawyer or an advocate or someone who is have gone through academic system, and he don't want to be associated with those foreign languages, and he's proud of what he's having, himself, his identity, and he's challenging you as a Kenyan. Why do you why or as a foreigner, why do you want to speak language that came by ship? This thing, if it happens back to Kenya, we can have what you call reputation, and we can have our heritage back. But it's not possible because right now Kenya is evolving in a way that 70% of its dwellers, they're becoming urbanized and domesticated in a Western ideology. They like those Western perception, Western things, you understand. And Tanzania, what I saw, there's identity, African identity, you find it in Tanzania. It's everywhere, whether in Dar es Salaam, when you speak English, somebody will know definitely you're not from there. When somebody greets you in Swahili, now you're in the land of Swahili, shikamoo mwanangu, shikamoo maraba, wabaji, unaelekea wapi wewe, zakaya ziko aje, unaona. The language they speak is so deep, uhali gani, unaona, mwanangu, unaona, those kind of words, they use them to address some issues and or to express themselves. Another thing made me to feel like Tanzania is a good place. Tanzania, when it comes to culture and African heritage, I think Tanzania is much better. And that thing also, I saw it in West Africa. And West Africa people, when it comes to tradition, they still hold. Now, if you want to know where the African tradition is in depth, it's in West Africa. In East Africa, there is more advancement into westernization and all that kind of things, But in the West, you'll find even the dress code. Somebody doesn't want to wear a suit, doesn't want to wear those. He want to wear the African attire, the vitenges, the tie and dye, whatever. So this beef between Kenya and Tanzania, we need to stop it because it is showing a very bad, experience. For instance, the other day there was this CAF federation, and Kenyans. Tanzania time came for them to play against Morocco, and Kenyans went into the web and bought all the tickets for the fans to enter the stadium, and they never went. So the Tanzania could not get a chance to go and buy the ticket and attend the national team prayer.